30 seconds. All right. Good morning, everyone in Manila. Good evening to our friends who are abroad, watching from abroad. This is actually not my usual program because this is a semi-regular meeting among the 1988 PFF National Champions Cebu. I just hijacked their reunion on Zoom, but we're going live so you guys can meet these gentlemen. No? So for everyone watching out there, oh yes, we have national players. We have Ascals watching us at the moment. No? Now the Ascals who are based in Davao and Iloilo are watching us. Football did not start, Philippine football did not start in 2010. It started a long time ago. And these gentlemen that you see before you are part of those national champions back in the 80s when I was still in college. Magandang umaga po sa inyo lahat. Magpakilala po kayo lahat para sa ating audience. Coach Grain, you might want to start.
In Tagalog, there's no chance. So you speak in English as far as that's concerned.
Speak in English.
Good morning, everybody. It's good to be talking to the Philippines again. We feel for you at the moment. We're following the problems that you've got over there. And that's one of the reasons why these Zoom sessions are so important, that we were able to catch up with everybody and just feel the camaraderie of football amongst all the players.
All right. Sir Gemini, introduce yourself, please. And what position you played for the club?
So, good morning over there. It's good evening over here. So, my name is Gemini. I was the keeper of the New Year Cebu club from 87 to 91. I actually won the MVP award on the 88 champion team.
Wow.
So,
goals conceded. No goals conceded.
Correct.
No goals conceded. Yes. That's something that I look back and some achievement that that I can look back and I still into football nowadays with my two boys playing, and we're here to talk about we usually reminisce with what we've done a long time ago, but now we're trying to talk about what's going on with Philippine football.
Where are you staying now, sir?
I'm now based in Jacksonville, Florida.
Nice.
I've been in the United States since 1992. First lived in Cleveland, Ohio in 92. Lived there for 5 years. I couldn't stand the cold, so I moved to Jacksonville, Florida, where the weather is a lot better.
That's American football country right there, huh?
It is the Jaguars country, yes. Yeah. Jacksonville Jaguars.
American football is fantastic over there. All right. Our next guest of honor, you probably know this person. He's Mario Siniza. Sir, magpakilala po kayo sa mga nanonood po.
Yes, I'm Mario Siniza. I am supposed to be the team captain of the the champion team of 1988. Now, presently, I am one of the coaches here in Cebu. I have a son named Enzo who plays before in UAP, but now based in the US.
Where in the UAP did your son play, Coach Mario? Where?
In Las Vegas, Nevada.
Okay. All right.
But at the moment, he's not playing yet because of the pandemic, and hopefully he will be able to once everything is clear. I was with Green since 1986. We were together until 2003 actually. 1995 we had the MLSDF Foundation that's still under M. Lulier. So we really have a long band. I really have a strong band with Rain, and this lasted for how many years up to now?
Right. Sir Randy, kumusta po? Magpakilala po sila para sa mga nanonood, Sir Randy.
Yes, good morning.
Sabihin niyo kung nasan kayo ngayon, Sir Randy, ha?
Okay po. Good morning, guys. I am Randy Estremos. I played for M. Lolier in 1988 My position is midfield. And after my playing career, I been FIFA assistant referee in 2002 as assistant referee, and I am now based in Macau Football Association. I've been here in 2007 until now, and now I am in charge of the referees development here in Macau Football Association. Last 2018, I've been in Thailand. They sent me in Thailand for the Futuro 3 international instructor course. And last year, I've been in South Korea for Futuro 3 also.
Wow.
As instructor referee. I was sent by Macau Football Association. I'm in charge of local referees here.
Galing, galing. Good job, sir. Sir Nolly, kayo po, musta po? Nasaan po kayo?
Hi, I'm Noli. I'm Noli. I was called Arnulfo, my full name, and I miss that name, especially when Graham called me over the field, Nulfo. So I miss that. Anyway, I'm based now in Manila. I'm here in Las Piñas. After my soccer years in Cebu, I think I have the shortest stint here with these guys because after that I worked with the airline. I've been working for 28 years with airlines, and I married an airline crew. Woo! And my daughter right now is a pilot, so we're here in Manila.
That's the family, huh?
Yeah. Yep. I was part of the original Luiler group.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you those questions that I asked earlier because we have a different audience watching us also. We have also media watching you right now. No? The first question I'll ask obviously is posed to Grain. How did you come to coach this team and why? Why not in Manila? Why not in Davao? Why not in Cebu?
Well, the reason why I was in Cebu was because I was doing business in Cebu, buying rattan furniture. So that was the first reason. And I'd already played, because I played for San Miguel in 1980-81 when I was buying rattan furniture in Manila. I'd been to Cebu, I'd met people. So each time I came to Cebu for a business trip, I was already on the team, one of the teams of the Cebu Football Association teams that were playing in a tournament. So if there was a tournament played, I would also play in that game while I was there. So I got very friendly with Michel Lulier, and then I suggested to him that I'd like to come back and stay in Cebu. He suggested that I coach a team when I come back, and that's how it started. And then I met up with Mario, who I'd met in 1981 at the National Championships. He was only, how old were you? 15. Mario? In the National Championships?
No, 16.
16, playing in the National Championships in Cebu.
Yes.
So I'd seen him there, and then I'd known him from time. He just arrived back in Cebu when I was there. And we got together. I told him what we were planning to do. And then we sat down how to set up a team. So we started from below zero as far as the scratch team was concerned. And we went through every position, what players we needed, where we could get them from. And then that's how the team was formed.
I understand that you were playing for San Miguel at the time. What league was that, Coach?
League up in Manila. I played in 80-81. I played for San Miguel under Kuto. And we played in the National Championships in Cebu. And obviously the players against UTEX and CDCP and E-Raison and these other teams who were playing in the local competition at the time.
Right. Okay, for the players, everyone, all the players present, I will ask this again. I asked this earlier. Who were your favorite players? Who were your inspirations back in the 1980s? Sir Gemini.
Gemini, you're on the top.
Yeah, so in the 80s, there was this keeper from the Soviet Union. His name is Renat Lisayev. He was one of the best keepers ever like seen, even nowadays, even the current keepers. So I look at him, you know, there was no keeping coaches back then, right? So I had to actually look at somebody else playing the position in order for me to, you know, improve my skill. So when I played for San Miguel in 84 to 86 with Mario, with Bert Honasan was the captain at that time. The keeper was Jose Luis Gomez. He was the Philippine keeper at the time. So I was his understudy. And I look at him and idolize him. I mean, you know, he was the one that actually like morphed my you know, goalkeeping skills.
Right.
So so yeah, so it was the Soviet Union keeper and then the Philippine keeper at that time.
Right. Sir Mario, kayo, sino po yung ilang mga idol ninyo ng 1980s?
Yeah, internationally it's Diego Maradona. So yeah, because during that time we were active. We're very active also. And then for here in the Philippines, my idol is, when I was in high school was Father Panfilo of Don Bosco.
Wow.
I had so many things of him. I had a scratchbook which I made just for him. So when I went to Manila, when I went to Manila to play in Manila, and then that's when I really was in awe. You say when I saw him, even though he was not playing anymore at that time.
Sir Randy, kayo po, sino mga idol niyo?
During the 80s, my favorite is Beckenbauer from Germany. He's a very good player.
Scoring machine yun, ha? Franz Beckenbauer.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
A libero.
Beckenbauer.
Oo. Before may libero, no? Siya nagsimula, no?
Yep.
Yeah? Sir Noli, kayo po, sino mga idol nila nun?
Yeah, actually, not much on the local side because there was no streaming back then. So so it's only in Cebu players and internationally. Same with Randy. I idolized Beckenbauer before. Yeah, I played defense and he was a good one. He was a good player. And locally, I really like the way, I don't know if you know him. He's a UV player, Ballesteros. I like how he plays.
Alex.
Yep.
Ballesteros.
He started as a keeper.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
Okay. Now, question for the players. This is for the players. When Graham became your coach, can you tell about the time? Was it easy? Like, okay, we have an Australian as a head coach. Did you believe him right away? Because how did the other teams think that Graham was not only a former player, but he was now a coach? Did it raise the level of football in Cebu or wherever? Yeah, let's start with Noli muna. Let's go the other way around.
Yeah, initially I hated Graham. Yeah, in a good way, in a good sense, because when we do warm-ups, he doesn't get tired. So I don't know. It was hard to catch up. Anyway, that's initially with when we started training with balls, Lulu. That's it. But it changes everything. My mindset on how to play soccer, it changed when Graham was our coach.
What in particular? Was it in terms of the strategy, the tactics? What was different?
Actually, even though we were good players, because we were part of the team, I would say we were good players. But I didn't really have the basics. I didn't have the basics. But when we started with him, he started us from scratch. There were no stars in our team, so we were treated equally. So that's what I like. So yeah.
Right, Sir Randy, kayo po.
Yeah, he's a very professional coach. He came on time. He tell the players to come on time. And if you are late, no superstar. No superstar. If you are late in training, when the game come, oh, you cannot be in the first 11. And in the training, also in the training, he have a lot of exercises, basic training, ball control, the endurance. We run the road running every morning. We start training at 5 o'clock in the morning, and then we finish at 7 o'clock. And then when I come to school, I always feel sleepy because the training is very, very hard. But we're very happy for that because we learn a lot from him. We learn a lot from him, the values he teach us, not only in the ground, not only in the field, but also outside. So this coach, he changed also my attitude also.
Wow.
In professionalism, I learned a lot from him. Sometimes I am very thankful to him.
Pero Sir Randy, you're not like Sir Nolly na you hated Raymond.
Because he killed us during the training. That's why maybe Nolly don't like him.
Mario, kayo po.
Yep. Even I have a very close relationship with Graham. I treated him with utmost respect, especially as a player. Player to coach relationship. I mean, also being the captain, I had to really set an example to my fellow players. So I really worked very hard, learning from Graham, who is not from the Philippines, and who really has a very good attitude, especially in terms of discipline. So when I go to practice, I have to be there on time. I have to carry Gemini. Sometimes Gemini wakes up late, so I have to pass by his house, get him on my motorcycle, and then go to practice. So,
I thank you for that, Mario. I appreciate you a lot.
So that's what we do. And I think really Graham revolutionized football in Cebu. Right. Because what I had before, when I was in high school and even in college, it's not really scientific day, although it's not compared to the times that we have now with Graham. It's different, but at least we really have excelled in during his mentorship for us.
Rick, before you get to Gemini, Noli was talking about equality and everything like that. There's a story regarding Mario, one of the first practices that we had down at San Roque. We'd finished the practice. There was balls on the other side of the field, and I needed somebody to go and get the balls, pick them up, bring them back to where we were. And I said to Mario, you go and get the balls. And all the players looked at him to see, because he was the superstar of the team. He really was at that stage, national player. He came back. He was the reason why we had the team together. He was the captain of the team. And I said to him, you go and pick up all the balls and bring them back so we can go home. And all the players looked at him to see what his reaction was going to be. And straight away, he just turned, without asking me any questions, walked to the other side of the field, picked up all the equipment, brought it all back. Then the players knew everybody was equal. The captain was no better than anybody else. Everybody had to be, if they were asked to do something, they had to do it. And that's what he did. And that set the bar for the players. And they had to follow.
Nice. Before we hear from Sir Gemini and Sir Gennard, we have Sir Edwin Laruan, the editor for the for the Iloilo Sun Star. So, yung mga regional media tayong nanonood. No? Edwin, kaibigan, salamat nanonood ka dito sa amin. Ayan, Sir Gemini, go.
So back in the 80s, before grind came, Cebu football was so far behind the rest of the country in terms of football. You know, Cebu is a basketball country. It was never a football country. I think even now it still is. You know, basketball still, you know, reigns supreme. But when grind came, you know, at first, of course, there's that language barrier, right, because of the accent. But you know, football language is different than just like real like spoken language. So we just understood what he tries to explain to us. But from a coaching perspective, you know, grind came to Cebu. We never had, you know, really good coaches at that time in Cebu. He brought in new ideas, tactically, technically. You know, trainings are fun. They're totally different than what we, you know, we're used to. Except for obviously when, you know, when Mario and I were playing in Manila, you know, there was, you know, you know how to look at the sport from a professional perspective.
Right.
But when you go back to Cebu back then, you know, you never look at football as, you know, hey, this is a, you know, we look at football to be professionals, right? We look at it just because we want to play it.
Right.
It's just fun. But with grind, and, you know, he taught us, you know, how to look at it, you know, from a professional perspective. So yeah, it was. I would say that we did raise the level of football in Cebu, and you know, from the beginning was, you know, the first step, right, is to win the local championship.
Right.
And we failed to do that the first time. But we was, you know, I was distraught in that first tournament that you know, we didn't win it.
Right.
But you know, but after that, you know, the target was the national championship, right? So it was never the local championship. So after that first tournament that we played, you know, Cebu League is nothing but just a stepping stone to, you know, to achieve what we actually trying to achieve.
Right.
And we did it in less than 2 years. So we started in '87. We won in '88, which was very impressive to me, you know.
Yes, it is.
So yeah, I would say we did raise the level, and grind, you know, made that possible. You know, he taught everybody just, you know, to look at the sport from a professional perspective. It's just not going there, you know, just to play.
Right.
You know, we need to carry ourselves. We need to be, you know, to prepare ourselves from every training day, every game day. You know, we need to mentally, from a mental perspective, we need to prepare ourselves. It's just not like, you know, hey, it's a game tomorrow and it's another game tomorrow, you know. And no, we have to prepare ourselves, you know, not only physically but mentally.
Okay.
Which is, you know, not seen, you know, back then.
Right. Okay, before we hear from Sir Genar about his experience with Coach Grain, for those who just tuned in, you're watching Usapang Football with the 1988 national champions, the M. Louis team that was coached by Gray McKinnon, and they're from Cebu. We also want to welcome a noted Cebu sports writer, Rico Navarro, my colleague who's watching us.
Yeah,
I'm being bashed by him.
Alright, Sir Genar, kayo na po.
Yes, good morning everyone. Actually, joining Lolier that time when I was still in college, supposed to be just for my opportunity to have the school fees.
Mm-hmm.
But Lolo Graham taught us a lot from the perspective to becoming a good football player, especially for the attitude. So I owe him a lot for that quality, because until now I have brought that with me without taking into consideration that I was a football player back then, and we won a football championship way back in Iloilo. That was in '88, and almost got another champion in 1991 in Dumaguete.
That's right.
So with that span of 5 years, I was able to have one champion, and the other one is first runner-up in Dumaguete.
Right.
So it was a very, very good experience for me playing for that Lolier team. And a lot of reason until now. I am very thankful for Lolo Graham for whatever achievement, for the achievements that I had. For being a football player at the same time, for as the personality where I am doing right now.
Right.
So thanks a lot, Lolo Graham.
Problem.
Okay.
Basta ikaw.
Yung mga kalaban ninyong teams, no? Kasi kayo mostly Cebuano, pero I hear like may taga Dipolog, ganyan. Pero konti lang, mostly Cebuano kayo. Yung mga kalaban yung ibang teams, your opponents, were they all-star teams? Were they regional-based, city-based? What can you say about your opponents? Ray, maybe you can shed light on that?
Well,
and then we can hear from the others?
Yeah, when you look at the teams that we played against, Navy, when we played Navy in the national championship, I think there was 6 national players in that team. And like I said to you in that message I sent you last night, in the days in 1988, 86, 88, Cebu was the whipping boys of the national local tournaments.
Wow.
We were not expected to win. And I think that was an attitude problem, like Jim and I was talking about. The first thing that I did when we went away, we made sure that all players wore a uniform that had Cebu written on it. Wow. So they were representing Cebu, they were representing Lulier. They had something, they had to be accountable for their actions. And to be accountable for your actions, you're advertising, you're coming from Cebu, you're representing a company, you have to do the right thing for them. And I used to hear the stories of some of the national teams when they would go overseas, and they only went overseas for the shopping. They were only interested to get overseas and do the shopping. They weren't worried about the football. And in a similar way, Cebu, the players then, like Jenna just said, it was all about their tuition fees. So long as they could get a scholarship, they weren't worried about the football, to the point that I was, and like Jim and I were saying, that my aim was the national championship. That was where we were going to be tested. Whereas a lot of the players were just there for their tuition. So, you know, when you played against these teams that were in the national championship, you play from Iloilo. How many players come from a national team in Iloilo? They had players that had played in second division Germany. Who was the player that played second division Germany in Iloilo when we played? It was one.
The brother.
The
brother of Nonong. He played for second division.
Yeah, and he was playing in that team when we played against them. And when you look at the average age of our team, I'm 42 when we were playing that, and the average age, including me being 42, the team age average was 22. So you can imagine how young and inexperienced we were playing against all of these experienced teams. Bacolod always had a good team. Iloilo, Dumaguete, Navy. This is the benchmark of where you find out where you're at. So that's the sort of players we were against.
Okay, before we hear from the others, we want to say hi to Coach Alvin Ocampo, former national player himself. Coach Alvin is watching this broadcast.
Good morning.
We have a lot of people watching us, gentlemen. Okay, sa mga local players natin, no? What do you remember about that tournament? You can also talk about the first match, which was against Dumaguete, a scoreless draw, if I'm not mistaken. What do you remember about that game? Before that ba, yung draw nyo against Dumaguete, tinalo nyo na ba sila dati? Or did the draw give you confidence to go into your next assignment, which was against Bacolod, if I'm not mistaken also? 1-0 yata against Bacolod, second game niya eh.
So Dumaguete was our first game, right? So it ended 0-0, but we actually scored a goal in that game, which was nullified.
Yeah,
and I think Mario hit the crossbar during that game. So, but you know, the year
before, the goal nullified? Why was the goal nullified?
Before our winger can cross the ball for our striker to head the ball in, the linesman called the ball was already out before he could make the cross. But you know, according to our winger, he's like the ball was still in; it never went up. So I don't know if that was true or whoever was true, but the referee called it out. So, but we did score a goal. But anyways, the year before that in Davao, we beat Dumaguete. in our
Yeah,
first
we
game.
did.
We beat them 1-0. So we already had that experience playing against those guys. So we know how they play. We know how to play against them.
Okay.
So it's just unfortunate that, it ended 0-0. But, being the first game in the tournament, that is, having not lost, what was already a good start of the tournament. So we just build from there. So we, from that game to the next game, which was against, who was our second game? Was against Bacolod. Yes, Bacolod.
Coach Mario scored.
Yes, and we beat Bacolod. So
Yeah.
Bacolod was a very strong team. Half of that Bacolod team I played with them in the Philippine youth team that we went to Japan.
Wow.
So I know half of that team.
Who were their starts? Who were the stars of Bacolod?
There was Alfredo
Torne-
Joso,
Figueredo.
who was their center mid.
Alfredo,
Playing in that team.
Tornelia, Kalalang,
No. I think no. Pijadero was playing in that team.
Milo Sabacan, the goalkeeper.
Nako, all-star din. All-star din pala yun.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Nonoy.
They're very strong
half of their
team.
team are national team players.
Wow.
Nonoy Frigidero.
Wow.
So
big achievement yun. Huh? Mario, can you recall the goal? Can you describe that goal against Bacolod?
It was more of it was a scramble inside the penalty area, I think. And then that's how I scored because it was very muddy at that time. And what
there was a
happened also,
Yeah.
what happened in that game is that I committed a foul, a handball inside the penalty box. And then Gemini saved it.
that was
Okay.
against Navy.
Penalty.
That was against
That's
Navy.
Navy, Mario.
That was against Navy.
I'm sorry, but as far as I can remember, it was inside the box. That's how we scored, and because the pitch helped us also because it was very muddy at that time.
So parang scramble for the loose ball, then you got to it first. Ganun ba yun?
Yeah.
Okay. 1-0 against Bacolod. The next game against Navy, 1-0 where Sir Randy scored. Sir, naalala mo din sa goal na yun?
Oo, grabe ang nun. Kasi ang putik nun eh. Grabe ang putik kasi may typhoon yun. So, lahat talaga, ako gusto ko talagang maka-score kasi kung hindi kami manalo nun, mahirapan na kami sa sunod na laro namin. So, awa ng Diyos, naka-score naman. So, ayun, nanalo kami doon sa against Navy. Tapos, mayroon pa nga doon na isang player sa Navy. Before the game, one of the players, I don't mention the name. if we win against Navy, he will take out his buds.
He was from Cebu.
Yeah. But tinalo namin sila. So, but hindi niya nagawang yung buds niya eh. Na-challenge kami doon. Kasi underdog kami. Underdog kami doon.
He made a mistake of saying that, and
because we are the underdog. We are the underdog, and then they underestimate us, and then now finally we beat him. We beat them.
Yeah, so he made a mistake of saying that, and it just motivated us to, beat.
Yeah.
Okay.
And actually, Mario was right. He committed a penalty. He had a handball in the penalty area, and there was a penalty late in the game, and it was John Carmona, I think, that kicked the penalty, right? Maybe
Jude. I think it's Jude.
Jude Carmona. Yeah.
Elder brother.
The older Carmona. Okay.
Yeah.
I guess right. And I saved the shot. So
no rebound. No rebound on the ball.
No rebound. I caught the ball.
Good job.
Yeah.
Good job.
I just guessed right. So
okay. At that point, 3 very good results. A draw and 2 wins. Diba? So, mataas na ba yung kumpiyansa nyo? Were you guys confident? Let's hear from Sir Jenar and Sir Nolly. Were you confident at that point? Naisip nyo ba kaya na natin panalunin to?
I'll give it to Jenard because I was not there.
Actually, there was no easy game during that time, no? But even though we are that we won that 2 games, but complacency is for Lolo Graham is there's no way to be complacent. So you have to work hard every game. So no complacency. So we're still doing that, banging around with the teams and then banging with our opponents. There's no complacency during that time, even though we won 2 games.
Yeah, from our part, you know, we were not the favorites, right? So every game is a championship game for us.
Wow.
So there's no.
I still remember one incident when I think we were leading. Yeah, that's we played against Navy. Graham still remember that when you came in.
Oh, the Iloilo.
Yes. Against Iloilo. Yeah, I still remember that.
That was the next game.
Graham came in, and then I scolded him. Remember, I scolded him not as a coach but as a player because he started hitting somebody and was given a yellow card.
What?
Was given a yellow card. Yeah.
What happened?
And then,
who's he
and then he told me, I did not have any. What was his intention actually? And he told me, I did that just to delay the game. Oh, okay, that's good.
Because against Iloilo, we only needed a draw to make the championship.
Yes.
So it was 0-0. I came in with about 6 minutes to remain, and we just went around and we just absolutely made mayhem, which put the other players off, the Iloilo players off as well. So that got us through.
So
Mario,
after the first 3 games, you know, we had good results, but we were not assured of the championship spot yet. So we cannot, lose the 4th game, or else, there was a chance for us not going through. So when we were looking at that game, it's about not losing that game, right? So, but we achieved what we wanted to, just get a draw. But we got actually lucky. I was beaten during that game, but the mud in front of the goal saved us.
Wow.
The ball stopped right in front of the goal.
Yeah, that's true.
Because it was so muddy.
Yeah.
Who was playing for Iloilo? Who was in Iloilo at the time?
Iloilo, Joseph Ginsaya.
Is that Piao? Piao was there?
Piao brothers.
Yeah.
Piao brothers.
Every team had current national team players playing.
Wow.
We played against them. Yeah.
Was Nonong playing pa at the time?
No, it finished by then.
I think younger brother of Nono.
Yeah, but he was playing for Air Force, I believe, right? Not playing.
Yeah. Not there.
Okay.
But a couple of things, Rick, regarding this. Mario didn't play in the didn't play in the last game against Iloilo because he was injured in the 3rd game. Did Mario? You stayed back. You overdosed on muscle relaxants. He overdosed and he stayed back at the camp quarters.
He was getting old that 4th game.
But we played 4 games straight. So for us, that was a very big imposter in that regard. Just to play 4 games straight in the wet conditions that they were.
No recovery.
No recovery. The only recovery we got was when they had to play their last. We had to buy the game before the championship, so we were lucky there. The other thing was that Gemini went to Iloilo with a broken thumb.
We got a broken thumb.
He had a broken thumb in Cebu.
Wow.
Okay. I didn't bring a substitute goalkeeper with me. Gemini was the only goalkeeper that we had in the squad. And nobody knew that he had any problem with his hand because he would bandage it in the quarters before we got in the bus or wherever we went to, put the goalkeeping glove on, and he wouldn't take the glove off again until we got back to so nobody knew. He didn't concede a goal, he saved penalties, all of that sort of thing, which is one of the reasons why he was MVP, that he played with a broken thumb for the 5 games.
The Band-Aids was my friend.
Okay. So eventually you guys played your finals match at Santa Barbara. That was actually on the day of my birthday, November 11, 1988. My birthday is
There you go.
November 1988, Santa Barbara. That's a famous pitch. In fact, it is no longer there today.
Right.
I don't know if you know that it's no longer there.
No, I don't know.
La Paz.
It's not there. Some idiot of a mayor decided that they wanted to do something with that pitch. No? So they took away football from the people in Santa Barbara. What a shame. What a bloody shame.
Absolutely.
Okay. The game against your finals opponent, it was a club team, yung Victorias. They're from also Bacolod, tama ba? From Bacolod?
Right.
Yeah.
They're from Bacolod. They're sponsored by Victorias.
Yeah. So
Victoria's Milling.
that's right. It was scoreless, so after extra time, you went to penalties.
Yeah.
Okay, what do you recall of that game, whether during regulation and even during the penalty? What was the score in the penalty shootout? I don't know.
4-3.
4-3. Wow.
4-3.
So
we missed one, they missed two. Gemini would always tell me before a penalty shootout, I will save 2 penalties. You make sure that we score four goals, and then we'll win the penalty shootout.
Did he keep his word?
Yeah.
Yes,
They missed 2 penalties.
I was relaxed. Penalties are never a problem for me because, I always look at it as I have 5 chances to save at least two shots. So from a kicker's perspective, it's different, right? Because they only have 1 kick, each one of them. Yeah. So there's more pressure on them. So for me, I was like, hey, I got 5 chances. I got to save at least 2. So
okay. Since the first 2 games were held in Haro? Tama ba?
No, in
Barotac Nuevo.
Barotac.
Barotac. Okay.
Because of the typhoon, Santa Barbara wasn't available.
Transfer.
I see. Okay. Was the Santa Barbara pitch muddy as well?
Oh, yes.
It was.
Yeah. In fact, there was a chance that it wasn't going to be played. It was only in the morning of the game that they decided to play the game there. They felt that it was okay to play, but it wasn't great to play on. Very difficult condition.
Okay, all of you, let's start with Jannar down there. What do you remember of the championship game? Yeah.
It was a very exciting fight, actually. It was, I could see the game, it was 50-50 chance winning until such time a penalty was called. Then we were confident because Jimene was our keeper. So that's the way
we practiced also.
Yeah.
We had already practiced the penalties as well.
Right.
So we knew exactly what we were doing.
Before every session of training, we used to do penalties against Gemini. So that's why how I am very confident of that penalty kick out or shot out.
Yeah.
So that's the way I see it.
Did the mud play a factor during that game? That's why scoreless yung regulation.
A very big factor, I think.
Yes,
yeah, but the defenses were both good.
Okay.
The defenses were both good. The ground was heavy, but you have to adapt to the ground. Whatever condition of the ground, you have to adapt to it as well. Had we been playing on a dry field, we would have played a different style of football. But the one thing that was in our favor was our physical fitness. That we were, we trained to play 120 minutes. We don't train to play 90 minutes. When you go to a championship like that, you train to play 120 minutes because if you can't run in the overtime, how can you get the goals? Your brain goes away. When you're so physically tired, you're mentally tired as well. That's when your decision making isn't 100%. So
right.
The boys were very fit, very, very fit to play that.
Okay, before we hear from the players about that penalty shootout, we want to welcome another colleague of mine in media, Brian Yalum, who is also watching. Okay, how did the penalty shootout go? Gemini, do you remember? Was it score, stop, score, save? How did it go? And who scored the last goal for Cebu?
Mike Ahmed scored the last goal.
That was it a game-winning penalty?
Yeah.
Or what?
Yeah.
That was it. So everyone
said it was a game.
That was it. He was the last penalty, and
they missed their first. They missed their first kick.
First one.
Yeah, yeah. They kicked they kick first, and you know, we were the second kicker in the shootout. So they missed their first kick. We scored our first two, I believe, right?
Yes.
So we were like 2-1 up, and then we missed our third kick,
which made it 2-2.
We made it 2-2, and we scored our next kick, which made it 3-2, and then they missed their last kick, and then Mike Ahmed had to kick the winning penalty.
Wow!
To make it 4-3. So it was 3-3. Go on, Jim.
And actually, he had to kick he had to kick his penalty twice, because the first he kicked the first time he kicked, the referee didn't blew the whistle yet. Oh. So he had to retake that penalty.
Wow!
and he put it the same spot he did. You know, he
didn't
did it the first time. So yeah, he didn't.
And had he missed the penalty when he didn't wait for the whistle, had he missed it, then it would have counted as a miss. But because he scored and the referee hadn't started the game with the whistle, he had to retake it. Yeah. That right, Randy?
Yeah, because Mike, during that time, I think he's very nervous also.
Oh, very excited.
He don't see that the referee has not given yet the signal to kick.
Yeah.
Luckily, the second kick scored also.
So that was it.
So you guys were now national champions. How did you celebrate? Did you go to a restaurant? What happened? Did you guys get a bonus? Tell us about that. Tell us about the celebration. And when you went back to Cebu, were people aware that you won the national championship? Yan. Dalawang question yan.
We had a parade. We had a parade in Cebu, right?
From the airport.
From the airport?
Motorcade from the airport to Cebu.
To Cebu City.
Wow. So were people out on the streets? Did they know about it?
Not a lot. Not a lot. We didn't care. We didn't care whether people knew about us or not, because we just won the national championship. So it was fine as far as we were concerned.
Right. Were there national media present for the finals?
Yes. Yes. One or two, I think, from memory. But again, because of the typhoon and communications were very, very difficult in those days, it took a long time to get the news stories through to the papers.
Right. Well, what else do you remember about the celebration? How did you celebrate?
I don't think we celebrated after the game. We were just so relieved to have won. We're excited. And we just relieved to win.
Beer? No beer whatsoever?
Well, no. I don't drink, so it doesn't matter as far as that's concerned. So I don't care what they did. I think the next day we went to the Lulia pawn shop in Iloilo, and we were photographed with the manager there, who had been very kind to us while we were in Iloilo. So we went back to thank her and show her the trophy. Then we left by plane around mid-morning to lunchtime to come back to Cebu. And then Michelle and Amparito met us at the airport with the streamer and thanked us for winning, etc., etc. We met up with the media and the Cebu Football Association within a couple of days of that. And then we went to Ball's Disco, which Michelle owned, and that's where we partied. We had a party and we turned over the trophy to Michelle there.
We have also a courtesy call from the Cebu City Mayor's office.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
I think we had a courtesy call with Lito, Governor Lito.
Lito Osmeña, because Michelle was the vice governor. So we went and saw Lito as well. So that was all right. Yeah.
Okay, I have two more questions. One, how did that championship, if ever, did it change your life? If it did. And number two, what do you think is the legacy of that 1988 team, champion team? Considering that you came from nothing, you were the previous Whipping Boys, and then you won a championship. So, two questions. How did it change your life, if ever it did? And number two, what is the legacy? Let's go around. Let's start with Jinar first. Everyone should answer.
Jinar.
Yeah, actually, it's changed a lot, no? For the perspective that let's say no matter how small or how weak you are if you practice well, and then if you focus on your anything what you are doing, then you have to. I think there's a big chance for you to succeed. The same the way you challenge the challenges of life is still the same for me. So that's it. It helps us. It helps us a lot,
Right.
especially with that championship. Before we are the whipping boys of the national championship, but after that, I think some of the teams looked at us as, oh, that's the team that won the national championship of '88. So it's now different story.
Respect.
Totally different. Right.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Nilo? Noli?
Yeah, I was not on that team, and frankly speaking, I was jealous. Yeah, I hated why I left. So anyway, I was very proud that I was part of the original team, and every time they talked about it, I didn't say that I was not part of the team. I was a Lulier once, and I will be a Lulier forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, you will, no.
Yep.
You will always be. You will always be.
Sir Randy,
That's it.
kayo po. Sir Randy.
Yes, after the championship, I feel very, very proud of my team. Because before we are the underdog, Cebu team, kung pupunta kami sa mga national championship, Cebu wala yan. But after that championship, yung sunod-sunod na mga tournament, wag kayo magkumpiyansa kasi grabe ang Cebu. Parang nag-respect na rin sila sa amin at last. Pero before that, wala. Parang wala lang yung Cebu. Nung mag-champion na kami, ayun. Yung mga Bacolod, takot na rin sila sa amin. Yung mga Navy, maglaro kami niyan. Yung mga Iloilo, respeto na sila sa amin. May respeto na sila sa amin. So, I am very happy for that championship. It changed my life also. Kasi naging tayo, parang yung as a player, nakakuha tayo ng mga values, tapos yung professionalism as a player, pumupunta sa king on time, ayun, talagang malaking pagbabago sa buhay. Hanggang ngayon, naglalaro pa rin ako.
Nice.
I love to play. I enjoy playing. Yung problema ko nawawala pag naglalaro ako eh.
Right. Right. Nawala na si Sir Randy. Sir Mario, kayo ay okay na po, Sir Randy?
Okay na.
Sir Mario, kayo po.
Yeah. At this time, I'm happy and sad because why I'm happy because it was an achievement on our part. I mean, it's a Cebu achievement. It's not only us, but Cebu as a whole. And then I'm sad because up to this time, it has never been broken by any team here in Cebu. So that means I do not know if it's the quality of the games that we have here is the problem or there's something else. So yeah, just like me now as a coach, I mean, I'm doing my very best to train boys who I'm looking at the ingredients of what made that team click or win the championship, because it has never been broken actually for how many years now, Graham?
Yeah.
32 years.
33 years.
33.
Yeah, as a coach now,
32.
Yeah, 32.
Imagine that 32 years, it has never been broken by any team here in Cebu. So as a coach now, I am trying my very best to find and recall the ingredients that what what the players or what the team had before, and then really mold my players to be at least at par with the team that we had before. So I do not know if we will be able to duplicate our achieve. I mean, Cebu football will be able to duplicate the achievement that what we had in 1988.
Okay, before we hear from Coach Graham, Rico Navarro says, because of your championship, it helped grow Cebu youth football until today. Many football players in the UAP and NCAA today are from Cebu. Yan. So yan yung part ng legacy ng championship ninyo. Coach Graham, your turn.
Oh, yeah, Gemini. You talk Gemini first.
Oh, Gemini, you first.
Oh, me. Well, personally, from a personal perspective, yes. It raised the level, right? So we went there not very confident on where we stand from a national level. But then after that championship, then now we know where we stand. And we knew that we can compete at the highest level in the Philippines. So what I wanted that back then was, if we could compete nationally on a week by week basis, not just 1 or 2 weeks every year. So you need to play at the very high level, 10 months of the year in order to be, to improve. So, but yes, it changed, right? From being nobodies to, knowing where you stand and, going to the next tournaments and, having that confidence because you already know, what to do. But like Mario said, we've set that bar in 1988. That bar hasn't been broken. I know there's a lot of, Cebu players coming after that, but, unfortunately, none of these Cebu players play for Cebu to be on that national level. And it's kind of like, it's frustrating to know. It's not really frustrating to know, but it's kind of, for me, it's like amazing that, why can't Cebu produce another team like that? I mean, yes, we have the players, right? We have the grassroots program. In the Philippines, for me, grassroots is always there. From the U8 to the U14, U14 level, technically, we can actually compete internationally. Unfortunately, once you get to the U15, U16, that's when the gap starts to spread, right? So our U15s, U16s, kind of like the standard is very low compared to, other countries. So, that I would wish that, we can narrow that gap. And, from a Cebu perspective, I still would want to have a Cebu team that actually can play in the national events and compete, in the national events, not just like go there and get whitewashed by all these teams from Manila.
Right.
But yes, you're right. We have a lot of, we always produce young players because we have the grassroots, right? But unfortunately, these young players, they have nothing to play in Cebu,
right?
At the national or at the, at the club level or at the adult level.
Right.
So, yeah. So maybe that will change. We're still looking for that to change, and hopefully it will change, but not 32 years from now. So now I'm asking for the people in Cebu, who are running Cebu football, maybe we can look at this. Say, hey, we need to have a short term, and then maybe we look at the long term. What are we trying to achieve from a short term basis, or what are we going to try to achieve 10 years from now? But we look at the Cebu football at first before, because we always produce these youth players. Like you said, we have youth players going up in the national ranks coming from Cebu. Unfortunately, they have to leave Cebu in order for them to play. Why can't they just, stay in Cebu and play for Cebu?
Okay. Coach Graham, you want to end this before we call it a day and a night?
Full time.
Your thoughts?
Yeah, I think one of the things about winning the national championship, it did bring respect to the Cebu football. amongst the other teams that we played against. One of the disappointing things for me personally, for the players, was the fact that I know that when the team that won the national championship, a lot of the players went into the national team. But for whatever reason, whether it was because Cebu wasn't regarded as being a football entity, nobody was invited to join the national team after we've beaten all these players in the national championship. Nobody was offered to do that. And we had players like Gemini. Gemini was there. Gemini, for me, was technically the best goalkeeper I'd seen in the Philippines. And he's the best goalkeeper never to represent the Philippines in that regard. He wasn't given the opportunity to do so. Mario could have gone back again and played again. We had all these 20-year-olds that were coming through that could have joined in as well. You know, the coaching, again, and it's going to sound like sour grapes. Also, the winner of the national championship usually went and became the national coach. But that didn't happen also. So, you know, what these boys have told you about what I expected from them, the bar that I wanted to bring the team up to, we weren't given that chance to do that at a national level. So, in a way, it was disappointing. We won, yes, but there was disappointment in it as well, as you look at it later on in that regard.
Anyway, we hope that by writing an article about you guys, and for my colleagues who are also watching, we can give you your what is due, even if it's 32 years later. Let's pose for a picture. So I'm going to ask everyone to look at their cameras.
Sure.
Hold on a second. Everyone smile and put on their best looks. Lalabas po to sa ating article. Itong picture na to. Of course, Coach Green, you need to send me a really nice picture. Smile, everyone. Smile. One more. I'll send this picture to you through Coach Green. So
okay. Thank you.
Most welcome, Coach. You of all people, you know that. One more picture. Smile, everyone. All right. Gentlemen, I want to thank you for spending this past hour. It's exactly 1 hour since we started this. An hour and a half since I invaded your
no problem.
No problem. I want to thank you for this time. And gentlemen, I wish you all the best in wherever you are in this part of the world. I hope that your families, you stay safe and healthy. And we find a way through this very difficult time. It has affected the whole world. And God bless you all. Thank you for what you've done for Cebu football, for Philippine football. Hopefully that the article that I will do, this video that is live on Facebook, I will also put it on YouTube so that I'll send a link to Coach Graham.
Thank you.
Coach Graham can share this with all of you that you can share with your families and friends. No?
Thank you.
People need to know.
Thank you very much. You know, we appreciate, we always appreciate the media. The media's got a lot of power to do in order to promote the sport. So, you know, we always look forward to the media at least supporting the sport in the Philippines.
Yes,
thank you. The honor is mine, gentlemen. The honor is mine. So, Coach Graham, thank you so much, my friend.
Pleasure, Rick. No problem. Rick, I sent you an email with a photograph. Did you not get that?
I think I got it.
You've got that? Okay. Let me know if you didn't. I'll send it again to you.
Yeah. Anyways, the article will be out either today or tomorrow.
Okay.
I have to figure out where to put it best, either the Philippine Star or on ABS-CBN's website. Ayun. So, kung saan man kayo sa Pilipinas.
Just send me the link. Just send me the link. No
sa Pilipinas o sa mundo, mag-ingat lang po sila. Maraming salamat. Buhay kayong lahat. Have a good day, gentlemen.
Thank you. Thank you, Rick.
Thank you very much.
Okay. See you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.